that guy who you've got on the screen right now, I don't know how anybody in the world can openly associate with him.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, first of all, it's ironic to me that he's Jewish and a Nazi sympathizer. You would think that if you were Jewish, you would not be a Nazi sympathizer. But this guy keeps talking about how the Nazis had it. They figured it out. Not my words, his. This guy, this Harari guy, he keeps talking about the Nazis and this, that, and other. And then he talks about how humans are going to become gods and how we're going to transcend God and God's fake news. Jesus Christ is fake news, which I also find to be amazing because the people who are listening to this guy are the same people who a few years ago applauded when the cartoonists that drew the Prophet Muhammad got killed because they said they deserved it for insulting the Prophet. But this guy's calling Jesus Christ fake news, and no one seems to have an issue with it.
Yep,
right.
That's right.
There seems to be kind of a double standard here. This guy is an open anti-Semite Jew. What? How does that happen? So you've got a guy who's praising Nazis and monsters, but in addition to everything else, it's also amazing. This guy is a historian, yet somehow he's the scientific advisor for Schwab and all these other people. Nothing about this makes sense other than the fact that this guy is apparently willing to sell his soul for a nickel, and Schwab and crew seem to like that. Meanwhile, he's also, as an added bonus, as if all that we've said about him isn't enough, he's apparently pro-slavery. Because what he keeps talking about is, humans are hackable, the illusion of free will. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to merge you with machines. Well, guess what? If you take my free will, then what am I? I'm a slave.
A slave, that's
you
right.
are.
And by the way, I can't think of a thing more antithetical to Christ. Because think about this, right? There's a passage in the book. He could turn stones into descendants of Abraham. Right? Well, God created us. And if you believe in a creator God, I don't care whether you're Jewish or Muslim or Christian or what you are, if you believe in a creator God, then you have to inherently believe that that creator God would have had the authority and capability to create us as slaves. He could have made slaves.
Sure.
I mean, he created humanity, he created the universe, he could have created slaves. But he didn't. He gave each of us, in all of the major religions, free will to choose to believe or choose not to believe. That's inherently the definition of faith. So if you remove free will, that is the opposite of the intention of creation. That is the opposite of God. Slavery is the opposite of God.
That's right.
Correct.
Yet this guy is out openly promoting enslaving and removing free will. And when you look at it, it breaks down into kind of three areas to my mind. There's freedom of speech, which allows us to communicate ideas and thoughts and interact. There's freedom of movement and bodily autonomy, control our physical presence. And then there's freedom of consciousness, freedom to think and to be and to believe. Well, if you take that one away, if you eliminate any of them, you've eliminated freedom. But if you take the freedom of conscience away, then you've eliminated free speech and free everything because you don't even control what you believe or think or do. And that's what this guy is aiming for. But what he never, and I'm sorry to be on such a long tirade, but, this is incredible that you've got a guy out here promoting slavery, promoting Nazis, and yet Obama's praising him. He's getting meetings with Macron and Merkel. He's, Schwab's advisor. The Ivy League universities keep inviting him back. And nobody's saying to these people, wait a second, you're inviting that like slavery and Nazis? Nobody's saying a word. We're supposed to be okay with that? Imagine if Trump invited someone like this to the White House.
Exactly.